Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel, Victoria Takes on Sweets. I'm really excited about this year. I have a lot of new content and new recipes that I'm going to be trying out and sharing the best ones with you guys. The first recipe I'm going to be trying out is a red velvet cheesecake cake. If you love red velvet and you love cheesecake, the two together are just amazing. I first made this back in November for my daughter's 15th birthday and she absolutely loved it. It was so good that my best friend now wants me to make it for her birthday. And that's what I'm doing today. So I thought I'd bring you guys along on the process and share the recipe with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the cheesecake. Okay, so first we're going to preheat our oven to 325. Place a large roasting pan in the oven. Get some water boiling on the stove for our water bath and get our 9-inch springform pan prepared. Then you'll get a large bowl and put your cream cheese in there and just give it a nice blend until it's nice and smooth and creamy. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and mix in your sugar and your salt and blend that for about 2 minutes. All right, next we're going to add our eggs one at a time. And finally, we're going to mix in our sour cream, whipping cream, and vanilla. You're going to give that a good mix until it's nice and smooth. All right, now here is my pan. I've already put a piece of parchment paper in there and I have lined my pan with some foil. And you want to do that just to make sure that the water does not seep into the pan once it's inside the water bath. All right, there's our roasting pan. We're gonna place our cheesecake into that pan and pour the boiling water in there. Now you wanna pour till there's about an inch of water that goes up along the side of the pan. And the purpose of this is really just to make sure that your cheesecake bakes nice and even and that it doesn't have any cracks in it. So it'll come out really pretty. Make sure not to burn yourself. All right, so into the oven it goes for about 45 minutes. Now once it's done, you want to go ahead and let it cool on a cooling rack for at least an hour. Once it's completely cool, you want to place it into the freezer for several hours. I did mine overnight, and then this is the next day I'm starting on the red velvet cake. So at this point, I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees and I have prepared 2 9-inch round pans. And now I've got my flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, and salt, and I'm giving that a good whisk. Once that's blended well, you want to go ahead and add your eggs, your oil, buttermilk, food coloring, vanilla, and vinegar, all to your flour mixture. Now the recipe says to use 2 1-ounce bottles of red food coloring. I chose to just use 1 1-ounce bottle just because to me I felt like the cake was red enough and I didn't want to add the extra dye. So instead I just added 1 ounce of water along with the red food coloring. So just 1 bottle of red dye and 1 ounce of water. But it's really preference. It's whatever, whatever you think. And you see that pretty red color? To me, that was just with the 1-ounce bottle of red food coloring, and I think it looks perfect. Okay, now it's time to pour our batter into our prepared pans, and you just want to pour them and divide it up as evenly as possible. And we will bake these for about 30 to 35 minutes. Or until a toothpick comes out nice and clean. Okay, now while the cake is baking, we can go ahead and get started on the frosting. And you're just gonna get a large bowl and beat your powdered sugar, your cream cheese, butter, and vanilla on medium-high speed until it's nice and smooth and creamy. Okay, once your cake layers are completely cooled, you want to get your cheesecake out of the freezer and let's start putting our cake together. Okay, now my cheesecake was slightly bigger than my red velvet cake, so I went ahead and shaved it off, and so that way it would be even. Okay, now it's time for the crumb coat. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. It's just basically to fill in those crumbs for the next layer. Once you've got your crumb coat done, you can go ahead and place it into the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes until your frosting sets. And then you just pull it out and get started on the final coat. All right, let's get started on our second layer. As you can see, I'm still trying to get my frosting technique down, and so it does take me a little bit of time, but we're all learning, and I'll get there. But it doesn't matter what it looks like now, it just matters what it looks like in the end. All right, so now you just kind of want to decorate it however you'd like. This is the fun part. I'm just gonna make like a little swirl on the top, and I'm gonna try out a few of my little cake design tools. Just have some fun. Okay, so you can't see at this moment, but I am basically putting some red velvet cake crumbs at the bottom of my cake. How I got those, when I had leveled off my cake earlier, I had some cake left over. I put it in a food processor and just grinded it up really quickly, and left me with these cute little red crumbs, and I thought it would be nice to put as a border on my cake. Now, one thing I learned from this was always make sure your cake board is grease proof, because I usually do, and I happened to pick up these ones really quick and didn't pay attention that they were not grease proof. And so when I was doing this border, the oil from the cake got all over the cake board, and it didn't make it look very nice. And so that's just one tip I have, is just always get a grease proof cake board. It'll save you some heartache. And if you're taking pictures, you definitely want to have your cake board look nice and clean and not have those oil stains. Luckily, this cake was just for my friend and she didn't care. So So I decided to give this cake a little bit of a Valentine's Day look, even though it's a birthday cake. And so I'm using a heart-shaped cookie cutter just to put in the middle of the cake, and then I'm pressing down some of the cake crumbs and putting them in the middle just to create a really pretty and cute heart shape in the middle. And there you go, a nice pretty little heart. Okay, now I'm just gonna go ahead and pipe a quick little border around just to give it some more character. Now just keep in mind that cream cheese frosting is a lot softer than regular buttercream frosting, so when you're piping, you know, you're not gonna be able to do like some really intricate designs with this unless you just add a lot of powdered sugar to it. But I wanted to keep it just how it was, and so just keep in mind it's going to be kind of soft. And lastly, I'm just adding some Wilton Valentine's inspired sprinkles just to finish it off. Okay, and there is the finished cake. Now keep in mind, since this was for my friend's birthday, I was not able to cut into it and show it to you. So I'm gonna show you a little picture right here of what the inside looks like when I made it the last time. And guys, this cake is so good. Do yourself a favor and make this cake. The red velvet cake is so moist and the cream cheese layer is just so smooth and delicious. I got this recipe from therecipegirl.com, so go check out her page and get that recipe. I'll go ahead and link her website below. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I plan on making many more yummy desserts for you guys and trying out those good recipes that are out there. So again, thank you, and until next time, have a blessed day.